Hi everyone, this is just a really quick video I wanted to make about Civilization 7 3 weeks later, basically, because it's been almost exactly 3 weeks since the Founders Edition release, which I consider to be the true release. But either way, this is actually the current situation right now, the 24-hour peak and the current concurrent players, and Civilization 6, less than 1 month after release, has almost 50% more concurrent players than Civilization 7. And honestly, my opinion overall about Civilization 7 hasn't really changed. I stand by everything that I said in my review video, or review-ish video, whatever you want to call that. But either way, I still think the game was released very obviously unfinished. There are so many aspects of it that are unfinished. It's actually kind of shocking how many smaller and bigger things are missing from Civilization 7. And by the way, now there are DLCs coming out, and we actually already know the exact release dates because they showed up, I believe, on the Nintendo store. So I can actually show you. Yeah, here they are. These are the exact release dates. And by the way, these DLCs are $30. So really, that's basically half the usual price of a AAA game. Or just under half, if we consider $70 to be the new normal. Either way, considering this DLC only really has 2 leaders and 4 civilizations, $30 is a lot. And that's on top of what you already paid for Civilization 7 to begin with. And considering that the 4th of March is basically just a week away, less than a week away right now, it seems unlikely that there's going to be a major patch before that. So they will start releasing these before a single major patch with fixes and quality of life updates comes out. And this actually brings me to my next point, or really my main point, which is that the best you can do is vote with your wallet. Because here's the thing. Civilization 6 sold 1 million copies in the first 2 weeks. This is the original tweet Firaxis made on November the 4th, 2016. And Civilization 6's release date was October the 21st, 2016. So this is 2 weeks. It sold over 1 million copies in the first 2 weeks. And looking at these numbers right here, considering Civilization 7 is already this low, less than a month after release, that is not great. And furthermore, there are actually some estimates about sales in here, and we don't know how accurate they are, but if they are somewhat accurate, then it's currently well under 1 million, basically 3 weeks in. And even if you consider February the 11th to be the actual release date, which it is not, but if you do, we are still more than 2 weeks in. Furthermore, I'm pretty sure they would have said something officially if it did outsell Civilization 6, because it's actually a pretty decent way to boost some sales temporarily, to try to induce FOMO, to make people go like, oh look, this is a record-selling Civ game, so I need to play it too. I want to be part of this thing, blah blah blah. It does work to some extent. And obviously, if you release your fastest selling mainline Civilization game, you want to talk about it. But they haven't said anything. So combined with these estimates, I think it's a very reasonable assumption to make that Civilization 7 so far has been selling worse than Civilization 6 did in the same exact time window after release. And look at these numbers here, by the way. It fell off quite a bit already, which I think is a good reflection of the current state of the game. Not only that, I do think this review score right here, the average, so 50-51%, is entirely fair and accurate. Like I said at the start, I haven't really changed my opinion about Civilization 7. I think the game is undercooked. It's unfinished in many different ways. And on top of that, we have a very aggressive release schedule of paid DLCs. Not only paid DLCs, but $30 DLCs. Yeah, this is the one right here. The base price is $30. and it will have the first leaders and civilizations releasing on March the 4th, at least according to the info that showed up on the Nintendo Store. And technically, this DLC is already out, which is why it has user reviews. It's just that the only content that's currently available is a cosmetic bonus. And all of the leaders and civilizations will be coming out in March. Either way, it's a $30 DLC, and it's releasing pretty much before any of the major issues with the game have been addressed. Unless we get a major patch in the next few days, which, hey, it's technically possible. We are supposed to get it in March. Question is, how big is it gonna be, and how much is it going to address? We still don't even have a Steam Workshop. Anyway, the point I wanted to make is that you probably heard people say many times how you should vote with your wallet. And it's entirely true. This is the one thing that actually works, especially in the case of big companies. So if you want to influence any kind of change, in this case, the best possible thing you can do is either not buy Civilization 7, or if you already bought it, not buy the DLCs. And maybe even take them off your wishlist. This is the one thing that actually works. Because if you buy all of that, then it almost doesn't matter what you say, because, well, you're buying their stuff anyway. Why should they really care about your feedback if you're giving them your money regardless? They will look at it, they will maybe think about it a little bit, but at the end of the day, addressing it is not important because you're buying their stuff anyway. But I can pretty much guarantee that if Civilization 7 fails to meet the sales expectations, whatever they might be internally, and if the DLCs don't sell very well, you will see things change, one way or another. Because the truth is, DLC sales are just as important, sometimes more important, than the base game sales. The profit margins on the DLCs tend to be much better than on the actual base game, because the base game has already been developed, and adding more content on top of that takes a lot less money and resources to do. And then you sell it for $30, like in this case. We have 2 upcoming DLC packs for $30 each, which are Crossroads of the World coming out in March, and the Right to Rule coming out later this year, in September or something like that, and they will both be $30 each. And you're basically just paying for 2 leaders and 4 civilizations in each of them, which is significantly more expensive than Civilization 6 civilizations costed in DLCs, even if you account for inflation in that time period. So you're basically paying $60, which is almost as much as you might have paid for the actual base game. So again, just to wrap this video up, my main point is that if you wanted to see things potentially change from here in some way or another, the best possible thing to do is to just not buy the DLCs, not buy the game if you haven't bought it, until later, maybe when there are significant discounts and a lot of the issues have been addressed. Personally, I think I might be taking a bit of a break from Civilization 7 while we wait for the patches and updates, because I would really like to start seeing the updates and fixes and quality of life additions. There are so many things that are missing from Civilization 7 right now. Not to mention, we still do not have the Steam Workshop. Both Civilization 5 and Civilization 6 had the Steam Workshop available very shortly after release. In the case of Civilization 5, it was back in 2010. It was 15 years ago. And we're rapidly closing in on 1 month since release, and we still do not have Steam Workshop support. And obviously you can still download mods manually and install them manually, but I know a lot of people don't want to bother with that. And Steam Workshop is a lot about convenience. Steam as a whole is a lot about convenience. You just click subscribe to a mod and that's it. Then you launch the game. That's all you really have to do. It's super convenient. That's why it's popular. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say in this video, so thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.